In the summer of 2000, I embarked on a solo backpacking adventure through Eastern Europe, seeking thrills and stories to tell. My journey led me to the quaint historic town of Vladivar, nestled deep in the Carpathian Mountains of Romania. It was there that I stumbled upon the world's most dangerous trap, though I didn't realize it until it was too late. With my backpack slung over my shoulder, I arrived in Vladivar and soon found a charming, centuries-old inn. The innkeeper, an elderly man with a long gray beard, welcomed me warmly and assigned me to room 13, which he assured me was the last available room. As I settled into the cozy, dimly lit room, I couldn't help but notice its peculiar atmosphere. The walls were adorned with faded paintings of eerie landscapes, and the air was heavy with an indescribable scent, a mixture of incense and something more unsettling. A single flickering candle on the nightstand cast dancing shadows across the worn wooden floor. That night, as I lay in the creaky bed, I heard whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls. My heart raced as I tried to dismiss it as mere imagination, but then a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the candle. Panic welled up inside me as the room plunged into absolute darkness. I fumbled for my flashlight and, as its beam cut through the obsidian blackness, I gasped. Standing at the foot of my bed was a shadowy figure, a woman in a tattered, blood-stained dress. Her eyes were vacant, and her face bore a twisted, agonized expression. She reached out toward me, her fingers inches from my throat, before vanishing into thin air. Shaken to my core, I rushed out of room 13 and sought the innkeeper's help. When I explained my terrifying encounter, he sighed heavily and reluctantly admitted the room's dark history. It had once been inhabited by a woman named Elizaveta, who had gone mad and committed unspeakable acts of violence before mysteriously disappearing. He warned me that room 13 was cursed, a trap for unsuspecting travelers like me, and the spirits of Elizaveta and her victims were said to roam the space, seeking retribution. He implored me to leave, but curiosity and fear held me in place. Night after night, I was tormented by Elizaveta's vengeful apparition. She would appear at the stroke of midnight, her malevolent presence growing stronger with each passing night. I could feel her icy fingers brushing against my skin, her breath on my neck as she whispered incoherent, chilling words. One night, as I lay paralyzed by fear, I realized the only way to break free from room 13's deadly grip was to confront Elizaveta's tragic past. I researched the town's history and discovered an old diary that detailed her descent into madness and the secrets she had hidden. Armed with this knowledge, I returned to the room. As the days passed, the innkeeper, grateful for my courage, shared more of the town's dark history with me. Elizaveta, he explained, had once been a respected herbalist, known for her remarkable healing remedies. However, tragedy had struck when her beloved daughter fell gravely ill. Desperate to save her, Elizaveta had delved into forbidden rituals and incantations, hoping to cure the incurable. Her descent into madness had begun slowly, as whispers from the spirit world infiltrated her thoughts. The diary I had found detailed her increasing obsession with communicating with the deceased. As the pages turned, the entries grew more frenzied, and it became apparent that Elizaveta believed herself possessed by the spirits she sought to commune with. In her final entry, she wrote of a grand ritual to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. The innkeeper speculated that it was this very ritual that had unleashed the malevolent spirits that now haunted room 13. Night after night, the room remained a haunted chamber of dread. Though Elizaveta's vengeful apparition no longer materialized, the residual energy of her suffering seemed to linger. Each midnight brought an oppressive sense of foreboding, and I could feel the room itself groaning with the weight of its dark history. I became obsessed with uncovering more about the room's past, scouring local archives and speaking with townsfolk who had heard the whispers of Elizaveta's madness. The stories painted a bleak picture of a woman driven to the brink of insanity by her desperation to save her child. She had been a tragic figure, not just a malevolent spirit. One evening, as I delved deeper into my research, I stumbled upon a passage in a forgotten journal that had been written by Elizaveta herself. It revealed the depths of her despair and the profound love she had for her daughter. In her words, I saw a mother who had been willing to cross boundaries into the supernatural for the sake of her child's life. The more I read, the more I empathized with Elizaveta's plight. It was as if she had been unfairly trapped between worlds, neither alive nor dead, her anguish keeping her tethered to room 13. Night after night, I continued to stay in the room, not out of fear, but out of a strange sense of companionship. Elizaveta's presence, while initially terrifying, had transformed into something more melancholic. I could sense her yearning for peace, her desire to be understood, and her need for forgiveness. I dedicated myself to unraveling her story further, scouring every available piece of information about her life. I spoke with the few remaining locals who remembered tales of Elizaveta and pieced together the fragments of her existence. She had been a kind and loving mother, a woman who had been driven to the brink by her daughter's mysterious illness. One afternoon, while exploring an abandoned attic in the inn, I stumbled upon a collection of Elizaveta's personal belongings, a faded portrait of her daughter, a lock of her child's hair, and another diary filled with the intimate thoughts and fears of a heartbroken mother. It was a poignant reminder of the depths of her love and the agony she had endured. As I spent more time with these relics of her past, I began to feel a strange connection with Elizaveta. It was as if her story had become intertwined with my own, and I felt compelled to help her find the peace she so desperately sought. One evening, I decided to share my newfound understanding with her, speaking softly into the darkness of room 13. I acknowledged the pain she had endured, the choices she had made out of love, and the torment that had followed. I offered her forgiveness and the hope of redemption. In response, the room seemed to sigh, as if releasing the pent-up sorrow it had held for so long. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and I felt a gentle warmth surrounding me. It was as though Elizaveta had heard my words and had found solace in the acknowledgement of her story. From that night forward, room 13 was no longer a place of fear and dread. It became a sanctuary of sorts, a place where Elizaveta's presence was no longer malevolent, but rather a reminder of the human capacity for love and sacrifice. As I bid farewell to Vladovar and the inn, I carried with me a profound sense of connection to Elizaveta and her story. I knew that room 13 would forever hold its secrets, but it was no longer a dangerous trap. Instead, it had become a place of understanding, a testament to the power of empathy and forgiveness in the face of the unknown. The world is full of mysteries, some darker than others, but in the end, it is our willingness to confront them with compassion that can transform even the most terrifying of places into something far more profound. For more true stories, don't forget to subscribe.